number two on Biden's cover up. Let me just say one thing. I'm a Republican. Man, maybe even a libertarian. I'm on the far right side of the Republican Party, that's for sure. But cancer sucks. Dementia or Alzheimer's sucks completely. Prayers for Joe Biden. I personally, there's a lot of things Joe Biden did as a senator and as a vice president that I do not agree with. But cancer sucks. Prayers to Joe. Um, the cover up low. One of his cancer, he had to have had it while he was the president, probably the entire time that he was the president, because it metastasized to his bones. The prostate cancer, you could live a long time with prostate cancer. My father had it. Several of my uncles have had it. That's easy to beat. My grandpa's uncle Ben died of prostate cancer at the age of 78, but that was also in 1934. There's a really good chance that he actually died of something else because medicine in 1934 wasn't that good. But he definitely had the prostate cancer. Uh, Prayers for Joe Biden and everybody dealing with cancer. I'm a cancer survivor myself. I had porocarcinoma right here on my forehead. Thankful for the doctors and all their hard work. The Biden's doctor should be losing his medical license. It's a simple blood test to see if you have prostate cancer or not. Because there's a history in my family, I'm young, but we've already tested for it. Don't have it right now. Thank the good Lord above. But the Alzheimer's or dementia, whatever Joe has. I know he was being treated from Parkinson's. You know, Jean Pierre, the press secretary, how many times did she lie to us about the president's, now former president's decline? He wasn't, he's the sharpest one. Most 20-year-olds can't keep up with the guy. But now we have two books. We have the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, talking about how Biden had a executive order to pause the foreign sale of liquid natural gas. Biden, didn't realize he had even done that. That to me means I think that every executive order ought to be looked at strictly based on the fact that helped fund the Ukraine war from the Russian side. Because if we weren't selling it, people had to get it somewhere. But once again, the Democrats are proving that they cannot be trusted. I mean, it's all of them. Well, I guess you can't say all of them. Most of them. Bill Clinton, he's being interviewed saying he's seen Joe Biden not that long ago, and the only thing he was concerned about is if he could be the president until he was 86, if he would run re-election. Clinton seeing nothing wrong with Biden's performance. I mean, really, Bill? But hold on. I did not have a mental acuity test with that man. Oh, sorry. Different quote from Bill Clinton. But It's just, come on, you know. And now we didn't hear anything from Biden for basically for 4 years. You know, they kept him locked up in the White House. I mean, it's even in the book. I guess it even talks. I haven't read the book. I won't read the book because I think that Hunter Biden and Jill Biden both should be locked up for what they've done to Joe. I also believe that the entire cabinet, Kamala Harris, should be locked up for what happened with Joe. I have family members who have dementia, and there's, my grandma had it. I would not have, I would not have wanted her to be the president of the United States when she had it. Matter of fact, my family went out of their way to make sure she wasn't making any major changes or anything to her own house, like financially or anything else. That's what you do when you have a loved one, that's struggling like that. You keep them safe, keep them fed, you keep them warm in the winter, as comfortable as they can be in the summertime. Like if you don't have air conditioning or something, you make sure they have, fans, lots to drink. You pick up the pieces for your family member. Not like Jill and Hunter did. I mean, like who was controlling the auto pen? Jill. Jill's chief of staff. Hunter. Was Hunter selling pardons? I mean, how did he pardon the entire family? How did he pardon the January 6th committee? Don't you have to commit a crime to get a pardon? Yeah, very interesting there. And will the Democrat Party be around? Are we slowly watching the end of the Democrat Party? I'm waiting every day for Fetterman from Pennsylvania to switch parties. Pierre, former press secretary for Joe Biden, she left the Democrat Party. I'm imagining she's just a quote independent, because I'm not sure the Republican Party wants her. Tulsi Gabbard, Robert Kennedy Jr. I mean, there's a growing list, and who should be held accountable? And Congress. When are you going to start bringing these people in on an official subpoena? Not a, hey, could you please come, but hey, you come down here or else. As a taxpayer, I want answers. And I think that Biden's entire cabinet should be locked up. Yeah, there's all this talk how they didn't have regular cabinet meetings. Some people are saying, well, the cabinet can't be held accountable. They didn't see him. I'm sorry, but if you're a cabinet member and you're not seeing Biden, the president, or, whoever that president is, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, Trump again, whoever the president will be in 2028, if that's a Gavin Newsom, J.D. Vance, Rand Paul, whoever that president becomes, if you are sitting in the cabinet, that's basically like the board. President is the CEO. You're a board member. If you don't have regular board meetings or cabinet meetings in this case, and you're not seeing the CEO, and every time you see him on TV, there's issues, you need to do the 25th Amendment. Congress, especially once the Republicans took the House, why were there no articles of impeachment? It was clear to everybody and their mom that there was no, the elevator was no longer reaching the top floor. But we need answers. We don't need to tell all books. We need answers. And these people who are writing these books, they need to be held accountable, actually, truthfully, completely. Because they knew what was going on and they lied. You know, as far as like the Jake Tapper, CNN, you need to fire him. He didn't do his job in a big way. Your job in journalism is to uncover stories, not write down a whole bunch of notes, wait till the story's no longer relevant, and then sell us all a book. But like Pierre, you were being paid by the taxpayer. It's time for you to be held accountable. Not write a book and make millions. Time for you to be held accountable. I don't know if any of you are Democrats that watch this channel, but what are your thoughts? I mean, are you okay with the lies? I mean, they had you guys voting for him in the primary. I mean, there was a large undecided amount, but they had you voting for him when he couldn't because these people didn't tell you what was going on. So, what are your thoughts? Please tell me down in the comments. I would love to know what your thoughts are for the lies. And the center right people. I mean, we're not buying the book because there's no point to buy the book. So we told you so. We all knew. We all knew that Biden wasn't up to snuff. Anyway, prayers to Joe Biden. Prayers for Congress to get this figured out because we need things done so this never happens again. The current president has lots of press availability. The Oval Office, there's press briefings all the time. For the Democrats who are still trying to say that he doesn't have the cognitive ability to run the country, I don't always agree with what he has to say, but he clearly can run the country. There's no cognitive issue with Trump. He's clearly got his whole head. His head is on straight. Like I said, I don't always agree with everything. Like, I think there's issues in the big beautiful bill. I think it's going to pass. I think there are issues in there, though, that need to be taken care of. Hopefully the Senate will, do that. And, because I think, there's a lot of good in there, but there is some bad. So, but yeah, we need answers and we need, we need something. Maybe there needs to be, I don't know how you would do it, but, because obviously if the president can't serve, it's the vice president who has to go to the cabinet by the 25th Amendment. I think there's a way for Congress to do it, but I think they have to have the Senate's help. But maybe there is a committee of some sort to, 25th, to change the 25th Amendment. Maybe it's a different group of people because, like, obviously, when you're the president, your vice president is your, running mate. The president's running mate is the vice president. Depending on the scenario, that vice president is not going to go after, the 25th Amendment. The cabinet is all appointed by the president. So, I don't know how much they're, would honestly do. But maybe, maybe there becomes, a specific, system like, I'd say like the Senator Pro Tem or whatever, the president of the Senate. But all that is another person from your party. The party that controls, well, I shouldn't say the party who controls the presidency, but the party who controls the the Senate, which right now is, you know, Trump, Vance, Johnson, then that President pro tem. But because the Senate is controlled by Republicans, that's a senator from Iowa. Then you go into like the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, all those is your order of succession. So you can't even say, hey, maybe that guy makes that choice because you know not that party lines are always not that everybody always goes with the party line, but most of the time, let's be honest, it does. You know, so we need somebody. I don't know if it's a committee. There's 50 senators. Maybe it's a committee of 5. But then again, does that end up with the president's party in control, and then we get what we had with Biden? I don't know what that would look like, but that's what we need to have. There needs to be some form of checks and balances because right now, right now I guess there won't be either. But the president's competent. But for 4 years, we had a guy who couldn't, tie his own shoes, let alone run the country. In the auto pen, So I mean, there's so much that was auto penned. Did he know what was being done? I mean, we got pictures of Joe Biden sitting at the Oval Office or on Air Force One, sitting in the Oval Office on Air Force One. No, she needs to be prosecuted. First lady is not a government employee, not the president. You don't vote for the first lady. But if you made it this far, hit please hit the like button, and if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. It will help the channel, and I will see you again real soon.